All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Glad that you're here. Great to have you with us for our Q&A session about Ecovillage Tours, about travel opportunities to eco-villages and co-housings and intentional communities worldwide. I love seeing a lot of the familiar names. And some people I see who have already registered for some of our trips, some of our participants we've had in the past. Great to have you here, and a lot of new people as well. Don't be shy about turning on your video camera. It's good to connect with the faces. Hi, folks. My name is Cynthia, and I'm going to be the lead presenter for today's session. I am the founder of Ecovillage Tours. And our intention here today is really to answer any and all questions you have about eco-villages and travel to communities, and especially the trips we have coming up for this winter at the beginning of 2026. And I'm joined today by my good friend and our Chief Connection Coordinator at Ecovillage Tours, Rebecca.
Hello! Glad to be here. Nice to see y'all.
Wonderful. Good. Well, we have a brief presentation prepared for you. I want to spend the bulk of the time on Q&A and really answering your questions. And before we get started with that, if you wouldn't mind putting a short note into the chat box, I'd love to know where you're calling in from. Where do you live? And I'd love to know if you're already thinking of joining us on a specific eco-village tour, like if you know that now, like I'm going to Costa Rica, I want to go to Bali, put that in the chat as well. And then lastly, if you are coming here and you have a very specific question in mind, something you know already you would love to get answered, put that in the chat as well, because that'll really help myself and Rebecca steer the conversation. Maybe we can answer some of those questions right away in the chat box. So once again, where you're coming from. If you know a tour you want to join, let us know which one. And what's a question that you're coming here today with, if you have one already. Okay, great. Oh, love all the things popping into the chat. Michelle's considering India. Oh, Warren, you're from Arizona. So is Rebecca. Yeah, great. Live in Costa Rica and registered for the upcoming India trip. Nice. Beautiful. Oh, Liz, now in Colorado, but just about to begin global nomad life. Amazing. So inspiring. Okay. Oh, and then we have Yuchi from Germany. Excellent. Yeah, it's amazing. We have people here from all around the world, not only the United States. Ah, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. I really appreciate you all making time on your Sunday afternoon to hop on Zoom and connect with us. I feel really grateful for your interest, not only in Ecovillage Tours, but just in this movement, this growing movement of people who want to choose a more connected, more sustainable, more resilient way of life. And I just thank you for that. I'm very excited that in a few days we're going to be starting our Italy Ecovillage tour, which will be number 14 for us as a company, our 14th trip that we have put on. Ah, it's just I'm just beyond ecstatic about it all and so, so grateful. Okay, so before we start with our PowerPoint presentation, I know we still have people who are trickling in, still people who are writing in the chat. Feel free to keep going with that. I'm going to play you a short video that actually has footage from one of our trips that we did in Costa Rica 2 years ago. And it'll really show you kind of like the feeling and the vibe and some beautiful imagery from the communities that we visit on our trips. So let me get that playing for you. All right, so here we go with the video. We are eco-villagers in the making. We are eco-village explorers. We believe the search for a better world is a critical undertaking at this time in human history. We believe that eco-villages and intentional communities of all kinds are the best examples we have for what a better world could look like. Therefore, we want to discover, learn from, and support existing eco-villages worldwide. Ultimately, we want to find our home within an established community or a new one we help to create. But first, it's imperative that we experience firsthand the regenerative community models already in development. We need to hear the stories of their founders, share the inspiration we witness, and know to our core that another world is not only possible, she is on her way. Not only do we want to travel to communities, we want to become a community. We know the relationships forged among our fellow explorers is fuel for our individual journeys forward. Because ultimately, it's not about finding a better world, it's about improving the expedition and getting others to help join in the search. That starts with you. You are the better world. Now step into it. Join an Ecovillage tour today and help discover a better world. Oh my gosh, so exciting. Every time I watch that, I get just a little bit of chills, really feeling the energy and seeing the beauty of all of these places around the world that are helping to move us closer to a more regenerative future, a place where people are more connected with each other in deeper and more authentic ways, where we're fostering peace and collaboration, where we're growing food and producing energy and living. I know it sounds trite, but in harmony, in better harmony with the planet. It shouldn't be that difficult. That's what we're here to do as humans, is to find ways to leave this world a better place than we found it. And I think that's happening in small corners and a growing number of corners that are getting bigger and bigger as more people are getting fed up with the status quo and looking for something different. So, oh, goodness, I could talk about that all day, but I'm going to jump in now to our presentation. We have a slideshow prepared for you so that you can get support in figuring out how to connect with eco-villages, how you can travel and experience these places, and more specifically, what it is we're offering at Ecovillage Tours. So if you're just tuning in, if you're just joining us, welcome. This is a Q&A session about Ecovillage travel. We have a short PowerPoint presentation, and then I want to spend the bulk of the time answering your questions. Hopefully, though, my presentation will answer some of the questions I've already seen come through the chat. And I know some of you have put in very specific questions about vaccines for travel and visas, and we're going to get into all of that as well later on. But I want to start with a general overview, and for those that you don't know me yet, I want to share an introduction. So my name is Cynthia, and as I mentioned, I'm the founder of Ecovillage Tours. I come to this work myself, having traveled globally, visiting at this point more than 200 ecovillages, intentional communities, co-housings, permaculture centers, a whole diversity of places that I feel fit within this umbrella of intentional community. This is a photo of me visiting a community in Denmark. These are some photos here on the left-hand side of the community where I live. So I spent most of my 20s as kind of a nomad, like somebody said at the beginning and put in the chat, digital nomad life. I did that for about a decade. It was incredible. And then I joined this sweet eco village where I live now. I've been building my house here for the last 5 years. We are 8 households on 15 acres of land. We have a big garden, lots of kids who live here, two greenhouses, chickens, full kind of eco neighborhood, and I love it. I have grown so much as a person getting to experience these places and live in community. I feel it's just my purpose in life now to help more people connect with these places. And that's why I started Ecovillage Tours. I really wanted to make it easier for you to go and visit ecovillages. Not only to just do the online research and maybe read some books or look at some online directories, but actually go from where you're living right now to visiting these communities and maybe eventually going on to, who knows, join a community, start a community, or just get more inspiration and feel more hopeful about this world and this time that we're living in. So that's a little bit about my story and my journey. And now I want to let Rebecca go and introduce herself. Go ahead, Rebecca.
Okay, hello. My name's Rebecca. I'm our Chief Connection Coordinator. So I'm here to connect with you, also to share any information and help along your journey of signing up for a tour. That is a photo of our group in Costa Rica on the Eco Village Tour last year. So I have participated in Eco Village Tours myself. I'm calling in from a ranch house here in beautiful, sunny Sedona, Arizona. I've taken a stab at starting my own intentional community on a 10-acre farm. That was in Central Texas. I helped with an agri-hood community called Village Farm Tiny Home Community before that. So I've been on this journey myself for many years, and yeah, I'm grateful to be here. I'm happy to help wherever I can, and so I'll be in the comments section if anyone, has questions in the meantime until we get to the formal Q&A. And yeah, these are just some photos from that Costa Rica tour that took place last year. There's Kelly and Joe from New Earth Development. Our whole group, it's awesome. It's like a traveling intentional community as a participant as you go to each spot. So glad to be here and happy to help wherever I can.
Ah, thank you, Rebecca. And thank you for being such a resource for everyone here. I know many of you maybe have had a call with Rebecca already or have one scheduled on the calendar. She's really been doing a great job at steering people towards which trip or if a trip is right for them. So grateful for your work and for the enthusiasm that you bring as a past participant and now working with Ecovillage Tours, as well as all of your knowledge you've accumulated over the years on your own journey towards community. Yeah, thank you, Rebecca. Alrighty, so a little bit more about Ecovillage Tours and our organization. We got started in 2019, but obviously that was right before everything happened with COVID, so that delayed us for a while. We really started running trips in earnest only 3 years ago, I would say. And to date, I'm so proud that with our Italy tour coming up, that'll be our 14th trip that we've run in over 8 countries around the world, bringing together over 100 participants with over 100 different intentional communities that have partnered with us, including 12 guides. Our guides are local experts who have deep relationships with all of the communities that they bring participants to. So yeah, it's just amazing the growth and the interest, and it's really fueled by people like you. I mean, I just even today for this Q&A, I think we had around 70 people who registered. I don't know how many we have live right now, more than 30. Just incredible. This is what the world needs right now. So thank you again for being here. These are our trips we have coming up for early 2026. As I mentioned, the Italy trip is starting in a few days, and that one is now full. We have 3 spots currently remaining for our Hawaii trip. That's the one we're going to start things off with. This is a trip that we ran earlier this year in January, so this will be our second time going back to Hawaii. Very excited about that. We're also going to Costa Rica in January. That'll be to the central region of Costa Rica. That is a 9-day trip. And it's just one of actually 4 trips that we're offering in Costa Rica in 2026 because Costa Rica is such an incredible place for learning about community. There's more than 30 eco-villages throughout the country, and we've been running trips there every year. We've been running 2 or so trips every year, and now we're like, let's do more. There's so much more to see. So we start things off with Costa Rica in January in the central region. Also in January begins our Bali trip. And that's actually a new one for us. We have partnered with a guide named Kavita, she herself is like an expert in this movement. She actually grew up in Oroville in India and as an adult moved to Bali and has been developing an eco-village there. So she's an incredible resource and guide partnering with us. Then we're going to Costa Rica in February for our longest trip there. That'll be an 11-day trip to the southern region, to one of the most biodiverse regions on the planet. Very deep immersion into community living and all of these different eco-village models. Our India trip is coming up in February. That'll be a 15-day trip. That's the longest one we offer. And that's also a second run for us. We did the India trip earlier in February 2025, and I'm so excited to go back in 2026. India, if you don't know, is home to one of the largest intentional communities on Earth, a community called Oroville, which is home to around 3,000 people. Massive scale, many different neighborhoods and communities. So that one's unique, whereas the other trips, you're really visiting a different community each day. On our India trip, you're visiting many different micro communities within the broader ecosystem of Oroville. So those are our winter trips. And as I mentioned, we have 4 trips in Costa Rica. So we'll also be going to Costa Rica in March and in April to the Caribbean region and the Guanacaste region. And all of those Costa Rica trips visit different communities for each one. Okay, so that's an overview if you're like new to what it is we're offering. I have to say that we spend a lot of time in the selection of the regions that we go to, really wanting to make sure we bring you to places that have a high concentration of intentional communities so you can see a lot within a 1 to 2 week trip. We are, as far as I'm aware, the only travel company of this kind that is connecting you with communities, bringing you on curated visits to different intentional communities with a eco-village expert as your guide. Our trips are all inclusive. That means all of your meals, transportation, and lodging during the trip days is covered. Our intention is to provide a learning experience, but also something of a vacation too. Like sometimes people who come on our trips are just curious about communities. They don't necessarily want to live in one, but they really want to have a vacation that's aligned with their values. So that's a big part of what we're offering, as well as what Rebecca said earlier, this traveling community village that forms among participants. That's a really special part of the Ecovillage Tours experience and something that people who come on our trips say time and time again, that was what they really weren't expecting to make the trip, but it truly did, that connection with fellow travelers. All right, so that's a bit about what we're offering. Who is this for? I know many of you wrote in when you signed up for today's event, you had the chance to share what you're interested in, and a lot of you were like, I want to know if this is even a fit for me. Is this like, am I in the right place? So here's a little bit about who our trips are designed for. Firstly, they're designed for people who want a values-aligned travel experience. And I know, right now in the world with environmentalism, it's really important that we are mindful in the way we travel. I don't think that for any of us, we're just going to stop traveling and stop experiencing the world, but how we do so matters. Really making sure that we're giving back to the local economy and to projects that are making a difference on the ground. A lot of the people who join us are just curious, like they're at the early stage of learning about intentional communities, and they're ready to go from online research into in-person experience. Sometimes people are very specific in that they want to find a community to join, and many of our past participants have. That's incredible, right? When you go on a trip and you visit for the first time the community that becomes your home. Amazing. Some of our participants are thinking that they want to start a community. So maybe some of you here today have that in mind. Maybe you have some grand plans to start a community. No better way than actually connecting with existing projects. A lot of the people who come on our trips also feel overwhelmed. They're like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new world. There's so much. I just want to go and get some guidance around which ones to visit that will help educate me and bring me forward on my journey. And of course, those who want a network of support to take that next step forward. Come solo, leave with community. That is what we're offering here. Not only the chance to visit communities, but to experience it and foster it, especially with the group that you travel with. I want to speak now specifically to those of you who are interested in living in an intentional community in the future. I know many of you who filled out the form said, I really want this lifestyle. I want it for myself. I want it for my family. There is no better way to fast track your community journey than by going and visiting places with the support of people who've been there and already have relationships, right? I know for myself, because I obviously created Ecovillage Tours, so it didn't exist before. And I myself, on my own journey, went and visited a whole bunch of places. I had some good experiences, some not good experiences. There's a lot of interesting projects out there of people who want to create community, but it's not exactly the best experience, especially for a first timer. So what we've done is we've curated and we've vetted the places to really make sure they're good ones for you to experience. And in that way, you can efficiently explore a diversity of community models and then go back later if you want to spend more time in a particular community. Um, for those of you who want to start a new community, I think one of the key benefits of what we're offering is access to leaders in the eco-village movement. People who've already started communities, who've founded places, so that then you can have that network and you can learn from them. And as you run into difficulties, maybe down the line, you have some contacts and people to reach out to. Um, as well as just taking time out of busy normal life. I know myself, I'm so caught up in like the day to day that going on a trip like this is just really a chance to get perspective on my life and really see myself from a bird's eye view, as well as connecting with community. Yes, taking time to visit ecovillages is the key. It's not enough just to be Googling online and reading blog articles or looking at videos. I really encourage you, whether or not you come on a trip with us, get out there and visit communities. A lot of them are welcoming of visitors. A lot of them have openings for new members. I really want you to feel empowered to go out there and check out some places. All right, so now just getting in a little level deeper. I know some of you had asked us questions about itineraries and really what is an eco-village tour. So I want to make sure I answer those questions up front. What we're offering is a 1 to 2 week, roughly, trip, depending on which trip you choose, during which all of the transportation, meals, and lodging is covered. That does not include your flight, so you do need to get yourself to the starting point, but we're really clear in all of our welcome materials about which airport you fly into and how you get connected with the group. Typically, our trips start at the airport, so it's really easy just to connect with everyone right away. Sometimes they start at a nearby hotel. And then you get these amazing meals. Like, I mean, I took this photo especially because it's just so beautiful. Like, some people are like, well, what's the food like? And will you be able to accommodate our diet? Yes, we have accommodated everything from vegan to paleo to gluten-free, everything in between. Typically, the meals, especially lunch, is served at the community and often is served with food that the community grows. So it's really fresh, really organic, as well as the lodging. The lodging I would describe as varied depending on the trip and which day, but always we strive to support hospitality businesses that are family owned or locally owned that are providing comfortable and eco lodging. So it's not too rustic. We don't have any like camping. You don't need to bring a tent or a sleeping bag or anything like that. Everything's provided for you in a really comfortable yet values aligned accommodation. As I mentioned, usually visiting around one community each day so you can have time, quality time that is, with founders and residents. Interspersed in the trip, usually in the afternoons, is more like free time. We go and do a visit to a local river or waterfall. We get a deeper workshop experience with the residents, something that brings more educational value. And of course, is the community of fellow tour participants. And there's a lot of ways that we foster that throughout the journey. We usually spend time in sitting in circle with each other and reflecting on how the experience has gone. We give people the opportunity to share about their lives and where they're at with their next steps coming off of the trip because we really want to support people in having clarity on where they're going next. Not that you just have this incredible experience and then you drop back into normal life, but that you have that support and you feel supported for what you want to do with your life in the future. All right, so that's about the Ecovillage Tours experience. These are some photos of the beautiful participants we've had on some of our past trips. Just amazing, diverse people from really all around the world. It's a lot of Americans, also a lot of Europeans, but people as well from Asia and South America, um, people who are in the later years of life. We've had people in their midlife years or teenagers. We've even had some children. So if you're coming on this call and you have a family with kids and you want to join one of our trips, that is absolutely possible. We tend to have like at least one family with one child join most of our trips. It doesn't always happen, but it is such a delight. It's such a delight to see like everyone getting involved and helping and supporting the family and just really having that village vibe on the trip. All right, so how does this work? Step one is choosing a tour. Hopefully, we're going to help you with that here today, figuring out where you want to go. Then you reserve your spot with a deposit. We have a really generous refund policy, just a $500 deposit to reserve your spot. Then, before the trip even happens, you have a pre-trip call with the people who you travel with. So we link you up, the traveling participants, we link you up with your guides in advance of the trip. We have a WhatsApp group, we do a Zoom call. There's a lot of like connection and community building before you even depart. And then, of course, you have the travel opportunity. And then we do a lot of work on the back end to make sure you stay connected with your group. We as well have this like amazing alumni network that keeps growing, and we do a lot of alumni calls as well. Alrighty, so now I'm going to share the Ecovillage Tours website because we're getting a lot of you writing in and asking like very basic questions that should be answerable through our website. So I want to make sure that I show you some things about our website that you maybe haven't realized yet. All right, so I'm going to just cruise on over to the website and show you this quickly, and then we'll get on to answering your questions. Okay. So here I am at ecovillagetours.com. I'm going to scroll on down. I see all of the upcoming trips. I'm going to show the Costa Rica page because we do have 4 trips in Costa Rica, and there's a lot happening on this web page. So here I am, Costa Rica Ecovillage Tour. I can see all the dates here for the trips. We have, especially for the Costa Rica webpage, we have a section for each trip that we're offering. So I'm scrolling down here to the January trip. You can see the map. So we try for all of our trips to have a map so you can visually see where the communities are. Then we have a overview of the trip, an itinerary, and then we have a short description for each community, which includes its location, if it's accepting new members or not, the land acreage, and their website. So whether or not you come on a trip with us, really utilize this website as a resource for you to learn more about communities because our team has put a lot of time and energy into putting this together and all of the detailed information about all the communities. So that's the January trip. Then we have our February trip, our March trip. You see for each one, there is the map and the description. And then we have scrolling down our April trip. And then if you scroll down a little further, I know it's a lot of scrolling, you'll get to the trip detailed section. And this is a section that is on all the web pages for all our trips. That's where you can see very specifically what's included. You can see the pricing for the trips, the travel logistics. You see, I'm just going down on this menu here on the left-hand side. It's a little different on a mobile device. That menu bar is on the top. So you can see which airport to fly into. You can see about the lodging and meals, weather and packing, physical requirements, and traveling with children, as well as our payment and cancellation policy. So it's all there on the website. And then if you're feeling like, okay, I'm ready to take the next step and place my deposit, you just want to click the Book Now button. You fill in this short form with your information, and then that'll bring you to our We Travel booking page. So I'm going to select, let's say, the January trip, for example. We have partnered with a company called We Travel to do all of our booking software. So this is where you actually place your deposit. You can see here, this is the early bird pricing available until October 1st. Let's say I'm traveling with a couple. I'll just put in number 2 here. So I get 2 packages of that. You can also change the currency. If you're coming from Europe, you can choose from a wide variety of euros or even Canadian dollars, really accessible in that way. If you have a discount code, that's where you would put in your discount code right here. And then for payment, you can decide if you just want to pay that $500 deposit now, or if you want to pay the full amount. And then you click continue. And then once you click continue, that's where you'll see the option to add on a private room if you're wanting a private room. We have a limited number of private rooms per trip. Typically, a private room upgrade is an $800 upgrade, and that's going to ensure that whenever possible, you have a room to yourself during the trip. Okay, so I hope that was clear. And I'll just hop over now back to my slides because I want to wrap up with the slideshow and share just a few more practical things about the pricing, especially because I know that was a question that many of you had. So let me just pull that up here just a second. Okay, got a lot of things happening on my screen. Okay, here we go. Back to the slideshow. Okay, great. So, one more thing I want to mention. This is also a question many of you had. I am offering a 4-day retreat in Costa Rica in the lead up to the January tour. So the January tour, I believe, starts on the 14th, no, the 17th of January. And so this retreat is January 10th through the 13th. So it's a 4-day gap in between. So you can do the retreat, then you could do the Costa Rica tour. And the retreat is really designed for those of you who know that you want to somehow, some way live in community. It's going to be a much deeper immersion. We are going to be staying at a beautiful retreat center and spa very close to the San Jose airport, so it's quite accessible. It's an easy integration and beginning to your time in Costa Rica. And it's going to be a deep dive with myself and my good friend and colleague Jason, who is a Costa Rica local and guides our Costa Rica trips, to support you on taking that next step, to step into community and gain the confidence and the skill set to know how to do that well. So if you want to join me and Jason at the beginning of all of this Costa Rica travel, visiting real world examples, that is the opportunity. All right, your next steps. You probably have heard we are in the middle of our early bird pricing that is going to end this Wednesday, October 1st. So if you don't know yet, this Wednesday, October 1st, circle your calendar. That's how you're going to ensure that you're going to get the lowest pricing possible on the trips that we're offering. It's an opportunity to save $700. So typically our early bird trips are around $300 a day, just to give you a rough idea. And then after the early bird ends, that's going to jump up to about $400 per day. Yeah, so it's a big leap. And I really want to make sure if you're feeling like you want to join us, you get your deposit in by October 1st. Um, Sometimes people are like, oh, wow, $300, that's not a lot of money at all. And sometimes people are like, oh, $300 a day, that's a lot. So I want to give you a little bit of a deeper sense about where does that money go. This is a chart that I put together to show you kind of behind the scenes how our finances work as a company. Really, the bulk of the money goes directly to supporting the intentional communities that we visit. That's this community support bucket here. We pay all of the communities that we visit. So our work and your participation is directly supporting these eco-village initiatives. Not everyone knows that, and it's really important, and it's something that I feel is so valuable that we're able to do in exchange for the community spending some of their time and making a meal with us and giving us a tour. The other chunk goes to the tour guides. As I said, we partner with local guides who really have deep knowledge and expertise in the communities and relationships. So you're not just coming as a stranger or like a tour participant. You're really coming as like, oh, Jason's friend, or oh, a friend of a friend. Like, you're stepping into this really deep web of relationships. We have a scholarship program. It's like our work trade scholarship program. A chunk of that goes towards that as well. So we can subsidize participants who may not have the resources to pay for a full trip. Then, of course, there's admin and marketing. That's actually the smallest part of it. Meals, lodging, and transportation, of course, is the rest. So try to be as transparent as possible as a company. It's something I really value, and I know many people do value these days. All right. I want to let you know you can afford this. We've made it really easy with payment plans. So our trips are all securable. You can reserve your spot with a $500 deposit that is refundable until 60 days prior to departure. And then you can break up your payment into smaller payment plans. And we're able to offer a customizable payment plan if you're looking for something specific. All right, so that's what I want to leave you with. That was all the nuts and bolts. I think I have one more slide here about an offer that Rebecca has to actually get on the phone with you. If you're like not so computer savvy or you just want to like talk to a human, Rebecca, do you want to share about what you're offering?
Yeah, so I can book a call with you, or this is our phone number, 734-245-8745. I do my very best to help put people onto the right tour experience. I will listen to you, understand your needs, ask you questions so that I can better understand exactly what it is you're hoping to get from this experience. And then suggest, hey, I would say this one would work. Or if you're considering moving, maybe you should do this. And we'll definitely get you signed up so that you can secure your spot. We're also going to have a Q&A section, of course, today, so feel free to ask questions there. But if you want to dive deeper, if you want to carve out some time, I do offer 30-minute free discovery calls where you can call in and I will help you to the very best of my ability. We've had tons of people call this week and I sign them up right on the spot. If you're not good with computers, I can actually sign up and take your information for you, so that way you lock in your spot and there's no miscommunications or challenges there. So feel free to call, feel free to email. I'm in the chat room here to try to answer the questions that I see. I see someone asking, when is a good time to call you? Call whenever. You could call me right now and I'll answer. I mean, I'd prefer to be on this webinar until it ends. And also here's my link if you wanted to, book that time. So I'm going to drop that in the comments. You could schedule ahead of time. If you call, you leave a voicemail, I can't answer for the very first time. I do try to return all voicemails within 24 hours. I'm pretty good about that. So, and I try to answer on the spot as well when possible. So here to help. Let me know if you have detailed questions. Some people ask specific questions if they're traveling with family or kids, or kind of, do we need a car seat, stuff like that. We're here to help and make sure all of your needs are met. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate it. All right, so call Rebecca if you have any questions or want to actually do a booking on a trip on the phone with her. All right, so thank you so much for listening. Thank you for all your attention. Now we get to do the Q&A. So I'm just gonna remove our spotlight so we can see everyone in the room. How are folks feeling? Feeling curious? Interested? Yeah? Okay, thank you. Beautiful. Good to see you, Juliet. Juliana, hello. Long time no see. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to scan the chat here, but if you have a question that you would like to have me answer or Rebecca answer, can you just raise your hand and we'll call on you, and then you can actually say your question out loud. I think that'll be an efficient way to go about it. So you can give me a wave or you can click the raise hand button on Zoom. Questions. Now is the time to ask your question.
Someone was asking regarding the lodging, just to clarify what the group lodging is kind of like. Just making sure that they're like, is it co-ed, or like you always have a mattress to sleep in? You always have, a bathroom access. So I don't know if I just kind of answered by saying all that, but I saw that in the comments. So.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. hmm So typically, if you are in the shared room option, which is the basic option, unless you upgrade to a private room, in which case you'd have your own room. If you're in the shared room option, that we always separate based on gender. So you'll always be put with the people of your gender, just so that folks can feel really comfortable with that. Typically speaking, you'll just have one roommate, sometimes two, sometimes three, but typically it's just one other person. And we try to mix it up. So you're never with the same person twice, you're always staying with different people. Usually on our trips, we try to limit the amount of moving around. So let's say on an 8-day trip, you may only be staying in three different accommodations. Obviously, if it's a longer trip, you might be staying in more different accommodations. The exception to that is our India trip in Oroville. For that India trip in Oroville, you're staying in the same accommodation for the entire 15 days. That's kind of like your home base. And the accommodations are really comfortable. You definitely have a bed, you definitely have a mattress, you have bedding, you have sheets, you have all of that. We try, especially for our Costa Rica trips, to always provide AC in the accommodations. If for some reason AC is not possible, that'll be really clearly indicated. I happen to know that our February trip, I think that's the only one where there is one accommodation where we cannot offer AC. So just something to be aware of. And yeah, bathrooms are, of course, available. If you're in shared lodging, obviously those would be shared bathrooms. If you have a private room, we try whenever possible to make sure you have an ensuite or a bathroom included in your room. Okay, great lodging questions. And now I see some hands up too. All right, Juliet, love to hear your question.
Yes, mine is about Costa Rica. Since you have 4 tours, my interest in going to Costa Rica is to try to find eco-villages and intentional communities that are kind of open-minded about, diet. I wouldn't want to go into a vegan or something like that. I'm omnivore type of person, and I'm kind of also very flexible. So no kind of religious overtone of guru stuff or vegetarian or, strict stuff, but also that is incorporated into the local community, that is not like a gated type of mentality with the expats being among each other and all that. So which of the 4 tours might represent more the idea of what I'm looking for?
Yeah, yeah, great question. Well, you said a lot of different things. You said wanting to not have too much dietary restriction, wanting a community that isn't gated or closed, but it has a good connection with the locals. Yeah, I would say most of them from a dietary perspective. I'm just sort of glancing through the list here. Most of them are able to accommodate a range of diets. Um, because typically, unless a community is really explicitly saying we are a vegetarian community, we don't allow meat here, most of the communities leave the diet up to the individual. So there might be vegetarians in the community, but individuals do what they want in their own households. I would say, let's see here. I believe.
Local connection is important, and local connection would involve also flexibility with dieting and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and so many of the communities have that too. It really is a value, not to be a bubble off in the woods, but really to be connected. I would say, okay, let me just look here. Florist. I would say perhaps our February trip, because that is visiting a wide number of communities. This is a trip where you're going to visit the most communities during the time. I would think that one would be a good fit. Floristrawl really does a great job with those local connections. Resonance would be really good for you, Juliet, because I know you also value the sovereignty aspect. I think you would really like Resonance. Holos. Holos doesn't serve meat as part of its retreats that it runs, but they're fine with people eating meat in their private homes. Yeah. I can't say that there's a trip that I wouldn't recommend, but in my hunch is that February would be one that you would enjoy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Now, if I send, like a deposit, I think it's 500 US, right?
correct.
And before October 1st, right?
That's right.
And February, okay. It's just that I did last year put a deposit and I had to back out of it, but it was okay because you only had one tour and so many people wanted to go on it. So, but I don't want to repeat that kind of backing out type of thing. That's why I wanted to make sure that if I select something that I commit myself to it and
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I do. Yeah, and that's a good attitude to have. Some people you can put down your 500 deposit and say, "Well, maybe I'll see you later." And that's fine. You'll get it back up until 2 months before the trip departs. But it is nice. It's nice for us too, and we know people are committed and want to come on this trip. So thank you for saying that. Yeah.
And also, if let's say Canadian dollars are worth a lot less than the US dollar and stuff, I know you have some scholarship because I'm also interested in helping out in any way I can. I'm a very active retiree, and even I work part-time right now because I like people and I like to be active. So, what is the scholarship involving? Typically, it would be helping out with what?
Yeah, I'm going to put the link to our scholarship program in the chat. It does take us some time to review applications and to accept scholarship recipients because it's really based on how many full paying people we have on the trip. So it's likely we wouldn't be able to get back to you before October 1st. Like I know we wouldn't be able to. I'm going to put that in the chat. Um, you'll see that there's a short application. We are viewing this scholarship program kind of like a work trade situation where you would be helping the guide or guides with anything they might need during the trip. Usually that means helping to clean up before and after meals, helping to do some meal prep, helping with like gathering the group and calling people and making sure people are on time. It's pretty light work. It's nothing with like a fork and shovel in the ground. It's nothing too heavy. Um, as well as media documentation. We really want to find people who have a skill set around taking photos and videos because we want to document these trips and share the information as much as possible.
Yeah, I think I would be a good fit for all of these. I've been like doing a bit of a woofing type of stay at a
Nice.
inn and doing all sorts of things to be helpful. And also I've been taking a whole bunch of photos in the past. Now I'm using my cell phone, so not developing photos, but I've also had a tendency of being a kid Kodak, you know,
Nice. Yeah,
documenting events and stuff. So yeah, all right, thanks for the information.
yeah, you're welcome. Nice. Exciting. All right. Let's go now to Michelle. And then I'm not sure I'm pronouncing your name right, but you're on deck. Go ahead. Go ahead, Michelle.
Hi. Yeah, I have a lot of questions. I have a call with Rebecca too at 5:30 today. So, um, I don't really, I mean, I'm interested in Costa Rica because they don't have an army there. And I'm just not sure, is Costa Rica owned by the US or no? I can't remember who.
No, no, they're a sovereign. Yeah, no,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd like to move where there's freedom people, not, there's different kind of communities where like the ones I heard about some in Virginia where they're people that live in a community, but they're not necessarily freedom people, quote unquote. And so that's important to me. I was interested in Rebecca and John's community, but it hasn't happened yet. So I'm at this point, I don't know if it's gonna happen or when. So I'm open to other things, and I don't know if I could afford to move to community either. That's another thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, also like the ones in Costa Rica, which one do you think would be like I'm a musician and a bodywork therapist, so where I could maybe still work. Like is there anyone that's near a town where there's some place to maybe work, like not totally in the middle of nowhere? And also, it sounded like I don't really want to be inland. I live inland now, like, in the kind of woods area, and I'd be more interested to live closer to the shore, you know.
Mhm.
Residence might be good in Costa Rica.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, residence is near the shore. Yep.
Is
And
that which tour is that one?
that's also on the February trip. Yeah.
Okay.
And I will mention too, Floristral actually has a music recording studio in the community. So
Oh,
they
wow.
really value music and have a lot of musicians who live there. That's
And
also
which,
on the February trip.
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Because and also the India one, that's already booked and filled, right? So
No, no, it's not. We have space for, I think, up to 15 participants, and right now we have 6 participants. So we still
and
have
when's
space.
that one? India?
The India trip takes off in February. Now you're testing my my memory here. So February 26th to March 12th.
So they're both in February. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 they are. For that particular one. Yeah, I mean, you could technically do both. We had somebody do both last year. He flew
Oh, yeah.
from India to Costa Rica.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, it
I
was
mean, I can't
amazing.
afford it, but I would love to. Yeah, I mean, India, there's so much, being that I've been a Buddhist for over 40 years, there's so much connection there for me would be, and also there's a lot of industry in India, so, and there's good health care in India too, you know. So that's another thing, like, is there health care in like Costa Rica? Like, what do you, I mean, is they don't,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the healthcare is pretty good by the standards of Central America. I think in large part because the country abolished its military in the 1950s. They've had decades where they've been able to put that resource towards public services. So they have fairly good healthcare.
and so if you move to one of these, you have to become a citizen of that country, or how does that work?
No, no, not
No?
necessarily. Especially for Costa Rica, they have a very easy, I should say, or lenient ability for foreigners to come and stay there on either a long-term visa or just with residency status, which is different than getting your citizenship. Citizenship is like that's a big deal. It usually takes a long time, but especially for Costa Rica, you can live there, even just on a visitor visa.
Okay, and then I don't want to take up too much time, but do they have places like are you supposed to build your own place or they have like cottages you move into or you buy or you rent? Like what's the I know they'll all be different, but is there any um, sort of trend that's happening or with these things?
They really are all different. It
Oh,
depends on
okay.
the community if they already have homes built and available for people to move into or to rent. I would say with the newer communities in Costa Rica, it's gonna look more like purchasing land and building a home. Not that you yourself would need to build it, but you would hire somebody perhaps to build a home. That's going to be the case for most of the newer communities.
Yeah, and um i- is there any like sort of idea of how much it would cost to do something like that? 'Cause it
Hmm.
sounds so expensive, the whole thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and it does really vary depending on the
Yeah.
community. One thing I will say is if you have a budget in mind, you can find, especially in Costa Rica, there's such a diversity of different models and places. it's likely you can find something within your budget. It may not be all the communities are accessible to you. I know some of them are more pricey, but certainly there's a diversity there. So I'm really glad you're going to be talking with Rebecca later today because she's obviously
You know, she's hearing all this, so she
she's taking notes. She's like, I'm going to do some research, prepare. Yeah.
yeah. All right, thank you. I'll let you move on to
Yeah.
someone else.
Thank you, Michelle. Great. All right, Uchi, go
Yeah,
ahead.
that was perfect pronunciation. Um, so my question, I wrote that already down in the chat. I know Costa Rica for, yeah, I've known Costa Rica for quite a while. And I've gone back many times and I've seen a big change. And my question is, do you have any experience or how the locals react to all the foreigners moving into the country and buying the land and making it, yeah, like unaffordable for them? And also the prices for cost of living have gone up intensely. I mean, it's like I was there last year and it's insane. And locals can hardly afford to go grocery shopping anymore in some places. So I'm wondering, it's like, do you have experiences? Do you have feedback from the communities how the locals react? Because
Mhm.
I'm seeing that this might, in the long run, might actually lead to problems, right?
Yeah, yeah, I really appreciate you bringing that up. Gentrification is a big concern, especially when we're talking about expats moving into a foreign country and, like you said, buying up the real estate, jacking up the cost of living. That is a big conversation that we have on all of our Costa Rica tours. It's like a central theme, not only gentrification, but relationships, cultural relationships with the locals there, the Ticos.
Mm-hmm.
And I have learned a lot from Jason, who is somebody who is very deeply embedded. He's like part of the local government council for his like local town. He's like really involved in the local community there and has a lot of perspective. Um, so I mean, I'm trying to like condense this down into a short summary here. Um, I would say some of the communities have it as an intention to do more good than harm to the locals. They have service programs, mutual aid work that they're doing. They are, helping to provide jobs and economy for the locals instead of being an extraction. That's a big part of the ethos of what it means to be an eco-village. And I really want to like distinguish between foreigners moving down to Costa Rica and like in an unconscious way moving there versus what these eco-village communities are doing. It's different. It's different in nature and intention. It doesn't mean that it's like avoiding all harm, but it has that intention.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I agree. I'm just wondering because there is a lot of people moving to Costa Rica that don't care and they build up, yeah, they build up the coastlines and they're buying a lot of land and I'm wondering whether the effect of that is being felt by the communities too, because we all tend to say, well, all those foreigners do. So I was wondering if that is just, or is the connection, are the connections with the Ticos so good that they make a difference?
Hmm. That's a big question, and we're talking about a lot of communities and a lot of places, so it's
I
really
know, I
hard
know,
for me. I wish I
I
had
know.
like the
No,
research to,
I was just
yeah,
curious,
yeah.
that it's, yeah.
I do really appreciate that question. I have to say, maybe I could speak to an example, which is Rancho Mastatal. It's one of the communities that we visit on our trips. They've been there for decades, and when they speak about community, they're not necessarily talking about their little community. It's like they're talking about the wider community of which they're a part of and really grateful to be a part of. They, work with the locals to help build the structures and do everything. And so like the locals are members of the team, not like employees coming there. They have ownership, they have a sense of belonging. Um, so that's just one example. Each community relates to it different, but yeah.
Okay, so if I'm interested in coming with you, I should probably talk to you or Rebecca and find out
Yeah.
which community, because that would be something that I would really care about. I mean, I know a couple of the communities already, but
Yeah. I
okay.
would say, and also for Rebecca to maybe talk to you more about Brave Earth really does a lot of that mutual aid work with the locals. And
Mhm.
then Rancho Mastatal, again, has just been there so long and has done a lot of really great work as well. So those are two communities that stand out.
Maybe coming to the retreat in Costa Rica would be good too, because having that one-on-one time with Jason as well, since he's lived there for so many decades.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe I could even pose this question to Jason and get more of his perspective because I know it's been like a part of all the trips that we do. We spend a lot of time sitting in circle and unpacking that. So,
Right. I mean, the problem will occur in other places too. I mean, Bali is another place where you probably have that happening a lot too.
hmm hmm Yeah, we live in a globalized world
Right.
and people are moving and economies are changing and it's kind of the reality of what the times that we're living in, and I think it matters a lot the intention that the people have when they come to these places.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, thanks, Cynthia.
The tour in 2024, it seemed like was very well integrated, like even, everyone like living there, residents, people helping from the local community and how it was all integrated and
Yeah.
benefiting and lifting everyone up. Like the rising tide lifts all ships. It seemed very synergistic, at least when I was there on the tour. So
Mm. One thing too to add is so Jason's like our lead guide because he has relationships with all these communities, but he has two guides supporting him who are Tico. Young Ticos. So you'll get their perspective as well as Costa Ricans, how they think about all this eco-village business. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. Great. Okay, Juliana, go ahead.
Hi, so I just wanted to follow up on that question. If on the Ecovillage Tour to Costa Rica, are you expected to bring a gift or anything? Is it a good gesture of like goodwill to the community or the culture?
Ah, I love that question. It is not at all expected. It's not something that's necessary. Some people do choose to bring a small gift from their homeland, to give to either I mean, you'd have to bring like a small gift for each community. Maybe you just want to give it to one community or one person or a few people that really touched you. That's always a sweet thing to do, but it's not at all expected or necessary. Because as I say, we are compensating all the communities that we visit. We're gifting to them, as well as like as a company. So I know for myself, coming from Vermont, I usually pack like a few little maple candies in my suitcase just so I can have those in my back pocket when I want to give somebody a special something. But yeah, I love that question. Thank
That's a
you.
good idea. I'm from New Hampshire, so I could do the same thing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I have another quick question. I was wondering if you could talk just a little bit about the Hawaii tour that's
Hmm.
coming up.
Yeah, great. Yeah, this is a trip that was sold out up until recently. And then we had some people back out. And so now we have 3 spots available on that trip. And I was there with Katrina last year running the Hawaii trip. Also a similar situation, the native Hawaiians there and the interaction with them. We start that trip with a visit to Uncle David, who is a local, I'm not going to use the right terminology, but wisdom keeper, for lack of better term, wisdom keeper around Native Hawaiian traditions. So we start that trip really learning about the mythology of Hawaiian culture and the everything that's happened with, Hawaii going from a sovereign country to being the United States and where it's at now and gentrification happening there. And then we visit projects over the course of 8 days, projects that are trying to make a difference and be of positive impact, especially with food production. I was shocked to learn that Hawaiians import like the majority of their food. And that's why grocery store prices are so expensive. So a lot of what the Hawaiian eco-villages are doing is focusing on creating local food systems because things grow really well there. It's the tropics. So they focus on that and the cultural integration. And as well, I would say the healing component, especially as we move from the Kona side to the Hilo side of the island on the Big Island, which is the active volcano island. You really feel that volcano energy and the, sometimes profound healing spiritual impacts that it has on the people who visit. Yeah. Yeah, great. Yeah. As well as, the beaches and black sand beaches and all of the amazing food. And I mean, Hawaii is just, I remember, I'll tell you a quick story. So we were leaving on the last day of the Hawaii trip and we were going to the airport. So we ordered an Uber to take us to the airport. It was kind of early morning. Our Uber driver, all of a sudden, he's like very chatty and talkative. He all of a sudden pulls over to the side of the road. I'm like, what's going on? He gets out of the car and reaches up and picks a flower from a tree and hands it to me and says, you got to put it on this side of your ear if you're married, this side if you're unmarried, explains the whole custom and gives me a hug. And that was my send off to the airport just from the Uber driver. I mean, it's just a really magical place. Yeah, so it was a great memory. All right, so I know we've been talking for a while, so I want to slowly wrap up. Liz, you have your hand up. We'll go to you next, and then we'll scan the chat. And maybe Rebecca, if you see any urgent questions that we haven't covered yet. Yeah, go ahead, Liz.
Oh, hey, I just want to celebrate that I just put my deposit down for Bali. I'm so excited. This is like so what I want to participate in. I was just wondering, Cynthia and Rebecca, do you guys go on all of the trips?
No, no, we don't. So I did for like the majority of the initial trips, getting everything set up with the partnerships and such. But now I'm very happy to support the local guides who live in those regions to welcome people. I don't need myself to put any more airplane miles.
Yeah, so it would be a big schedule.
Yeah, it would. I do, of course, lead the Vermont tour. That's the trip that we do in July to visit my home community. And yeah, I try to go on the trips when I can, for sure. Yeah.
If I could go on every trip, I would.
Yeah.
Especially, I really wanted to do the Italy one that's coming up this week. Oh, but yeah, the Costa Rica one was awesome. It was an amazing experience. I'd love to go to Oroville someday. I mean, just from a like private city, like huge, large scale perspective, and then all the micro neighborhoods look so cool. I've also really wanted to go to Bali, but yeah, right now I'm hunkering in. I just moved. I'm in a ranch house on a ranch here in Arizona, and so I'm settling in my life. But I'd love to get some of these tours going in the future once I'm settled in a little bit better in my personal life and moving from Texas. So you guys can go, and I'll live vicariously through you. How about that?
Sounds good.
Great. Awesome. Liz, so excited you're going to be with us in Bali. And when I say with us, I mean, with us. 'Cause I want to say too, like, even though I don't go on the trips, like I'm there. I'm like reading all the messages and checking all the photos, and I'm like, I feel like vicariously, like Rebecca said, with you. That said, I know we had a question about Bali, so I'm actually going to share my screen and pull up our Bali trip. I want to start talking about Bali by speaking to our guide, Kavita, who is a third generation eco-villager. She was born into Oroville, which is the community that we visit on our India trip. So she has like deep community experience and moved to Bali as an adult um, to start an eco-village with herself and her husband. She just recently had her second baby. She's just a powerhouse woman who has deep relationships with all of the communities that are going to be visited on the Bali trip. She was really instrumental in crafting the itinerary. And the itinerary includes both visiting the communities that are more like we are an eco village and maybe have more of the expat vibe, as well as communities that are made up of locals who live there and who are kind of reviving a more traditional communal way of life, as well as the local food systems. So, you know, Taro Village is a good example of the local Balinese people creating this village dynamic. The Green School with this amazing bamboo architecture. The Green School, which now they have the Green Village near the Green School, is a internationally recognized school for alternative education, nature-based education, incorporating Waldorf and other methodologies. So really like world-renowned kind of scale of a community. Lots of other communities being visited, as well as some national parks. I mean, I have not been to Bali, and I can't wait for when I get to go just to see like beautiful beaches and all the rainforests and waterfalls there. So truly looking forward to partnering with Kavita and making this trip happen. Okay. All right. Any other questions? Anything you're seeing, Rebecca, that I could speak to as we begin to wrap up?
Someone had just asked about the India trip and the one of the communities, and so I just shared the website. And if you go on the website, there's a really awesome feature where it shows all the different communities we're visiting, the featured visits, and there's like linking, you know, little blurb about each spot, and then also their website. So I would refer to that maybe if you wanted to dive deeper on each specific spot. Once you sign up for the tour, you will receive a detailed itinerary, as well as a detailed packing list, and you get added to a WhatsApp group where you get to meet everyone. We do a little Zoom orientation call beforehand. So you'll get all the inside scoop, of course, once you arrive, you know, then you'll get to see everything firsthand.
Yeah, great. Yeah, thank you for mentioning India, because especially for that trip, that is one of the ones where you do need to get an e-visa. So India, when I first visited India, like almost 10 years ago, you had to fill out this long paper application and, you know, go to the consulate. It was a whole rigmarole. Now India has the e-visa, so it's an online electronic visa, very easy to apply for, and that's made the whole process a lot more seamless. So when you book on our India trip, we give you a very detailed guidebook so that you can feel more confident with the visa process, as well as with health and safety things you may want to consider. If you want to, you know, have any vaccines before you go, if you want to make sure you have a more detailed health insurance coverage while you're in India. I know all of these far-flung places of the world, it is important to make sure you feel safe traveling there. So that is something that we especially provide. Well, we provided for all of our trips, but the India like welcome packet is quite thick because we want to make sure you're well prepared. Alrighty. So Elena and then Moz, and then I think we'll wrap up after you too. Go ahead.
Hello, hello. Thank you so much for this incredible session. I did already have a call with Rebecca. So my situation is I'm looking for a possible like move-in community that is good for children in Costa Rica and also has kind of like a mix of age group, but also, catered to children. And being a digital nomad. So I am so confused. I don't know if you have any recommendations because I'm not so interested in the Central Valley. I think I'm more interested in like the Southern Pacific and the Caribbean and even the Guanacaste. I just don't know. Like I don't think I'm in a position to invest in land and like build my own home, but I would like a community where there are homes already established I can move in and then communities that are already established with like either homeschooling or, nature schools for my daughter. She's 7. So I have no idea which like region to focus on for that.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And if
Hmm.
this is in depth, I can always like book another call. I'm not sure which
Yeah.
one I should.
Yeah. I think I can give you some direction. So for established communities in Costa Rica with a focus on kids and really that established village vibe with a schooling component,
Mhm.
I would encourage you to focus on the community first and location second. That's my general advice with this whole
Yeah.
thing. Like people over place. If you find the people and this amazing school and this amazing place for your family, who cares if it's in the Guanacaste or Central region? That's you can always take a trip if you want to go to a nicer beach or something. What's really important is the people. So for that, I would say La Ecovilla is the oldest, most established community in Costa Rica. La Ecovilla is quite large. It's a set up neighborhood. You can find homes to rent or buy that are already built in that neighborhood.
Mhm.
And they are located near San Mateo, which has a school called, they just changed the name. It's now called the World School. The World School. And we visit the school on the January trip. That's part of the tour. And that school services La Ecovilla, but also Alegria Village and Colectivo Taco Tal, which are 3 other eco villages in that region. So it's like all the eco village kiddos go to this school. It's a very awesome school. So that's probably my top recommendation. You may have heard of Rise, which is going to be on our February trip. Rise is still building, but they are building as a school focused, remote working, co-working focused community. So you like fit exactly the demographic of the people they're looking to attract. They're just still building right now.
Do we know when that'll be complete or?
I mean they're maybe like 25% the way there already. They have people living there. Actually, a good friend of mine has bought into this community. It's just not like like a villa. You can walk down a street and there's all these houses and gardens. It's like done, you know.
Yeah.
Rise is still building. Mhm.
Okay, gotcha. RYZE. I can look into them, but I just didn't. Yeah, I was looking for a region of what the Southern Pacific one also really interested me just because there's like resonance, which is near, I don't know, some of the different ones, it looked like they were in the mountains and there was like a mix of people. So I'm just kind of torn. But do you know, are there any there that are good for children or any, schools or anything?
Yeah, let's see. I know Resonance does have a fair number of kids. Well, Rise is on our February trip, which is more focused on the southern coast. They're kind of further north, but it's like heading in that direction. Florestral also has some kids living there. Florestral might be interesting because they are a bit more built up. They've been there for almost 15 years and they're very close to uh, San Isarido. I'm not so good with pronunciation.
Yeah, no
But
worries.
yeah, but pretty, that's like an urban ish center. So there's lots
Okay.
of opportunities there, and different kind of schooling opportunities. Although
Amazing.
at Florestal, they have more of a focus on homeschooling.
Ah, okay, which is would be okay too. Okay, thank you for your direction. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of, if I need to book another call, I will. Just have some
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Great, exciting. Okay, Moz, thank you. Your turn.
Thank you for allowing me to talk. First off, I would love to thank you for your persistence in communication. I've been receiving your emails for several years now. So I finally came on this call to see what's going on. What I'm looking is kind of, how would I word it, kind of match-up service, not with the, how you call it, not partnership in with the female male type of thing. What I have been doing for past several years, I have been working on the farms and farming communities and improving the soil and creating an environment that you will really have living food and the excess growth without damaging the soil.
Yes.
In Canada, I'm in Canada. In Canada, the weather is not my friend. So I'm looking in somewhere warmer to go there and especially assist the locals to really learn this process because it's absolutely simple, effective, and the food is phenomenal. I'm not saying this lightly. I'm not kind of patting my own back, but everyone I share this with, they fall in love with it. So I'm really looking for somewhere that allows me to do this and maybe create a community where others can come as a tour or as a learning curve to learn the process. I'm not sure if you guys are willing or able to do anything like that.
Yeah.
That is the question I have. I
Okay.
can actually share with you guys if you want pictures and the stuff I have done. For example, the turnip, 10-pound turnip.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, I'm so glad that you're doing that work with the land. I would say that is something that perhaps many of the communities we work with would be interested in. I think especially the one that comes to mind is Verde Energia Pacifica. I'll put it in the chat for you. And this is a community that is very land, food focused, reforesting the jungle there, but turning it into agroforestry. That's their whole mission and purpose. And I think they'd be really open to co-learning with you and possibly collaborating. Yeah.
Now, are you guys offering some sort of service to make the connection?
Yeah, we can help. I can put their website right into the chat, and they have a contact form. You can say that you heard about this through Ecovillage Tours. They know us. We've done tours there for a long time. And you can, yeah, reach out that way.
Yeah, that's great because as I said, I want to assist with the food and the safety of the water and the stuff like that for the viruses. Because there's some really simple methods that would take care of, especially in areas where the water safety of the water is of a concern.
Great.
So
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you, Maz. Thank you
you're
for
welcome.
bringing
So
what you're offering. I'm so glad that you have been getting my emails and decided to join. It's great. I
no,
sometimes feel I'm like, I hope I'm not being annoying, but I really want people to know about this and help connect people like you to these communities so that you can
no,
have
I
that.
was intending to connect with you guys, but I was really involved with the project up north of Toronto, kind of in the Blue Mountain area, ski resources, all that. So they have a golf course, all that. I was taking care of their food, all that. But now that project is over as far as I'm concerned. They are on their own now. So I thought to maybe move further south, as I said, warmer area where I can the weather allows me to do a lot more. So in northern part of Canada,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
anyway,
I know the
I'll
growing.
look into that, and I may even communicate with you guys on the email and maybe call you, see what's happening. Okay.
Okay. Okay, great.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you as well. Great. And Uchsi, I see your question here in the chat. I'll put the names in. Now, granted, a lot of communities have good connections in a diversity of ways, but the two that stand out to me are Rancho Mastatal and Brave Earth. Those are like, they're known for that kind of work. So,
Great.
yeah, okay, great. Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you all so much. Thank you for those good questions. I know we have a lot of people listening who didn't ask questions, but I'm imagining that this was something for you. I hope you got something out of it. I really hope to see you on one of our trips, or even just to see you out there at these communities, making connections, helping to be a part of this movement towards a better world. Like I really mean that, a better world, because that's what we need right now for sure. And thank you, Rebecca, as well for being here. Again, Rebecca's available if you want to give her a call or send her a message to find a time to speak. She's a great resource. And once again, October 1st is coming up fast. It's like Wednesday, so just a few days away for the end of our early bird pricing. If you want to get a lower rate on our trips, all you got to do is place a deposit. Okay, yeah, and Rebecca, if you could put your phone number in, or maybe even, yeah, you'll put it in the chat one more time. Excellent. Good, yeah, so it's right there, 734-245-8745. Perfect. All right, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Be well.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much.
You're welcome. Bye, folks.